Good day and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament. We have got for you today a lot of games, and because I've been rather busy, I have been relying on third parties to supply me with the replays. I got a couple of them from the replay site of our beloved tournament, and some have been supplied to me by Iron Fist Jadian and Tscu. So if you've got any cool replays, do contact me. My address is somewhere on the website, and send me some cool replays. I'll be in the chat from time to time, so then you can slip me a download link or something, and I will happily cast those games for you. Now, as we are speaking, OpenBW, which is the website which has this beautiful HD replay viewer, does not support 2vs2 or higher number of player games, so that's a bit of a pity. But without further ado, I have got a nice collection of games, and oh please, if you do supply me with some games, do not spoiler me at all. I do not like it. I like to cast the games as they are, and if this replay broadcast is going to go amiss somewhere, I'll have to redo it and simulate the enthusiasm which you will certainly hear. Now, we've got, as for starters, an update by Tscu. Tscu has been working on his Terran, and that's a nice change because it has been somewhat neglected over the past couple of years. Tscu has been working on this OpenBW project, which will allow players to view their replays on a website on Linux, and also to, in a later stage, code AIs through this portal website, which would be incredibly nice. But as of yet, we still got to see that, but seeing the speed at which Tscu has accomplished this bit already, it is surely going to be fantastic. Tscu keeping the distance, being warded off by one single vulture of Crazio. Crazio, of course, going for the fast command center. Again, that's good. That was lacking for some bit. He used to do a lot on one base, and that's just not good enough on in the modern game anymore. Now defending with the siege tank, Tscu a bit later with the command center, but has got two factories, Crazio too, so I wonder where Tscu... Oh, I think all the money is in these vultures, and I need to make it a little bit quieter, and the music, well, that's still a bit of an issue. The sound files are all connected through the install of StarCraft Root War, so you need to have the game installed, and only then can you play it through this website, or play replay through this website. The music files, however, have not been connected yet, so that's a bit of a problem for now. Crazio, is he about to use the high ground, or are these tanks messing up? I think it's the latter. Tscu going for the surround, containing the enemy, taking the third, and that's how it's done. Now, with a couple of units supporting this part of the map and going for, I think it's going to be a barracks, or perhaps it's going to be a starport, which might make more sense. We'll see in a minute. And it's going to be a starport. Now, that's pretty clever, because as you can see, Crazio has got a couple of comsats and will scan the enemy main for tech units, and Tscu, look at that, he's just warding off the entrance towards this base. Building the starport here will prevent Crazio from scanning it too soon, and meanwhile Crazio now venturing out into the minefield of Tscu, scanning a couple of times to clear up some of the mines. Tscu very hesitant with the vultures, fearing some tanks, and these two are still stuck here. And now Crazio is going to do something with the dropship, and what is Tscu building off this starport? Nothing yet. And now the dropship is in the front line doing something, don't know what. Both players are macroing up nicely. As you can see, Tscu a little bit behind, but with the third base operational, the fourth base coming, and both, only one of these bases defended as of yet. And that's why it's done, because why are they all running away? It's only two vultures. Hello, you should get in there. And they all run off and probably leave this poor SCV to die at the hand of these two vultures. That will be a bit of a googloo. Oh yes, there we go. We've got a science vessel and the SCV dies, so that's a bit of a problem. Tscu not choosing to fight, going for the surround. Crazio now with a third of its own, and Crazio seems more happy to fight. Now with two wraiths, but there are a fair number of Goliaths already, and only the first tank now arriving at the scene for Tscu. he'll have a bit of a problem containing this small push of Crazios, because there is lots more tanks, and with the air support, Crazio taking a fourth of his own. And you can see the game evolving, because players used to do so much of one base. Oh, and that's why, that's certainly unfortunate. This tank, carrying out some defensive measures, is blocking the flow of basically all units. We've got 2 factories, and we've got 1 factory there and 1 there, so about half of Tscu's production is now stuck behind this 1 tank. Tscu with the 2 science vessels, with the range, and the Goliaths, and the siege tanks, and a Matrix Marine for Protoss, is trying to stem the flow of Crazio's units. Crazio up in supply, playing more conservatively, and generally more happy to engage, because Tscu is always pulling back. And I wonder when, another SCV, building SCV falling, and another one being sent in, dying as well. Here comes the third. This tank could chase them all off, but trying to outrange these vultures, which is doing. But these vultures then move away, and only now the first one dies. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, Crazio still pushing on, and these units, oh, look at how many I can select, even with some buildings, and if I'm really trying with the enemy units and all, so I can view the health bars. And Tscu with the good defense could do with a couple of SCVs repairing those tanks, but this tank line is sure to hold Crazio aggression at bay for a long time. Meanwhile, we've got a Goliath incursion on the flank of Crazios, but Crazio with the tank reinforcements cutting that down. And these vessels getting very low. More matrices, and Tscu could really do with some SCVs. As you can see, Crazio's got the SCVs, repairing all kinds of units along the way. But in the meanwhile, the supply advantage has gone to Tscu, and this tank is still making a mess of it, blocking the reinforcements of these 2 factories, and, well, fortunately the barracks isn't doing anything. But now with the... oh, hello, that's silly. 2 vultures ran into this base, killed off or chased off all the SCVs. I think they chased them off. And Tscu going for a lot of starports. I don't know what he's going to do with that, but this method of clearing a base with a tank sieging up, you could just, versus 2 vultures, just run up, kill it, or send a couple of raids. Meanwhile, this line still holding strong against Crazio's incursions. And what I really like is the speed at which these bots are macroing. Crazio taking the 5th base already, soon to equal Tscu, and Tscu is just shooting himself in the foot with this siege tank blocking the ramp. Crazio with the raids, going to speed it up just a little bit, because it's a very long game and there is so much to show, because everyone has been working hard all week long. And that's a bit of a difference with, say, about a year ago, because about a year ago there were about 2 or 3, 4 people perhaps at times working hard on their bots, pushing updates every week. These days I think we have had about 10 different bots being updated, if not more. I saw 2 more added to the roster, and that's just a sign that these AI tournaments are gaining in attention, especially this one, because we're online 24/7, 356 years a day with the stream, so it's a cool place to hang out, meet other coders, ask questions and get stuff done, and also enjoy the games of these bots. Last week I got the suggestion, well, why do you only show these bots which are doing pretty well? Oh, we've got a battle cruiser, and Crazio hasn't got any kind of air support, so that's going to be a bit of a mess. We've now got 2 battle cruisers and an irradiated marine. Oh, that's very cute. But hopefully, yeah, the tank has dislodged itself. So if I hope that Crazio can snipe this tank, allowing this army to move out, because now Crazio with reinforcements is going to do a lot of damage to Tscu's infrastructure. And this battle cruiser and these 2 battle cruisers are really making a mess of it. If they concentrated their fire, they could take down... Can I do that? Actually, if I can select all the units of the same kind, like in the game. There are about 6 Goliaths, and now with the tank lines, these battle cruisers really could make the difference, but where are they? We've got 2 here, there used to be a little bit more somewhere, I don't know. And Tscu is, sacrificing a battle cruiser here. that's really not good. And Tscu has got some issues with fighting, and Crazio now seeing itself locked down. But with a couple of SCVs for repair, it's going to do relatively well. But all these units really don't dare to fight at this moment. And Tscu really has got the good concave, losing the natural command center, but supply-wise still a bit up. Now waiting it is for Crazio's silos, because he has been making silos, and now this army is dislodged. And the push of Crazio's is stymied because we've got we had a battle cruiser here and some Goliaths with a good siege tank position. And Crazio, although he's got the macro advantage, this army here he should pull back, because there is no way he can break through this with the 4 science vessels, a lot of tanks, battle cruiser support at all ends. And Tscu really should commit more to fighting, because he's so hesitant, always making a beautiful surround, making sure not to get hit, but this small force he could just wipe off the map with an A move, and well, losing battle cruisers in the middle of the map, or losing half the HP, perhaps he will lose them in the end, is going to cost him dearly. Now, Crazio is being pushed back because Tscu at this point has got the superior composition with 5 science vessels, and they can do so much in matrixing. I think the defensive matrices make up for the lack of repairing SCVs Tscu has at this point, and the irradiates are pretty cool too. So Tscu now pushing back, rebuilding the natural, and of course the production of the main base, which now has 3 factories, can be unleashed onto the map. Now Crazio, because he's been fighting relatively well, these very strong pushes which Tscu doesn't dare engage, is coming back in supply. So now we have got a game on our hands which features 2 players max, and if you look at this, we've got 1 Vulture decimating the SCV lines, and these Goliaths are being very hesitant in engaging it. The Vulture runs away with a large number of kills on its belt. And the same can be said here, because it's only a couple of tanks, no air support. Oh, nice Yamato shot, but 2 battle cruisers could mop this up. Well, not really fast, but there are only so many Goliaths, and I think if you be more committed to attacking, it would be a better game. So much for Tscu. Crazio doing work now with 2 dropships. Where are they going? One is going here with 1 Goliath. That's not really optimal, but Crazio now pushing down the doors of Tscu's base. This base has been raised by Tscu, Santana missed that. 2 Vultures coming to harass, but with the siege tank of Crazio not really optimally placed, but doing a good job for the moment. Tscu's running out of steam. Crazio, you can see with the bigger bank, supply-wise they're about equal, but Tscu is just losing so much because he is so reluctant to fight, and that's really costing him. Now with the Matrix battle cruisers, but by now there are, we've got 4 ghosts on the scene. Can we see? Yep, we can see if he's got the lockdown ability. And I think these battle cruisers, oh yeah, here we got one. We've got a lockdown battle cruiser, Matrix vessel. Spell used, very brilliant, but in the end, Crazio's willingness to fight, this is like watching a very defensive general losing unit after unit because he's not willing to commit. At Crazio taking the base again, and that's really what you'd like to see, because these bots are so on top of things. They scout the minute the base has been abandoned, retake it, repopulate it, and even defend it again with turrets. Could place a siege tank here like Crazio seems to be doing at every base with just 1 tank for home defense. That's pretty good until the cavalry arrives. Tscu with a huge problem now, dropping in supply, production cannot keep up. And of course a large chunk of the production is being cut to pieces by this very splendid army of Crazios. Now Crazio has got 2 battle cruisers locked down, now only 1. And although this army is getting a bit caught, the buildings are going to go down, and this chunk of, well, lightly armoured cavalry is going to be cut to pieces as well. And that's the base for Tscu. These minerals are all out, so this base doesn't take a prominent place into the game anymore. But Crazio now with the supply advantage. Tscu is having a very hard time doing some work with the Vultures, mining up these factories. But Crazio with the Ghosts, and generally, oh that's nice, that's 5 battle cruisers. We've got 5 battle cruisers on the warpath, but the Goliaths are much more efficient, and with the Ghost support they could lock down these battle cruisers easily. and Tscu just has a deficit in the tank department. So what he is gaining in mobility by these battle cruisers, vultures and glides. Oh, here goes oh, that's a pity. He's just losing in sheer stopping power, but now this army of Crazios is moving back, and Crazio engaging this base as well. So two theatre war being fought by Crazio. Meanwhile, losing a base to Tscu, but now cleaning it up again, and Tscu looks to be in a bit of a bad shape, although the pressure here is still on. Nothing really is getting done here or there, and Crazio looking good. Tscu with the brilliant macro, but just not enough commitment to fight to take these big tank fights. Crazio, despite taking atrocious damage by these siege tanks and supported by these science vessels and the battle cruisers, where are the battle cruisers? They've got a couple here. Oh, and Crazio's got battle cruisers of its own, so that's pretty good. Crazio now going for the kill because there are only 2 Goliaths, and although this is a bit of a standoff, you can see from the general way things are going, Crazio still about maxed, Tscu at 165 supply, so that's not really going all that well for him. There's one battle cruiser with 1 blob of health left. Where can it go? Because there are a lot of turrets here, and if he goes that way there will be a lot of Goliaths, so it's really a bit of in a quandary. Going to speed it up just a notch because this can take a while, but in the end I think Tscu will fall because he's mined out and his bank is empty. Although Crazio is losing some supply, I think in the end he will push through, especially since these battle cruisers appear to have the Yamato ability, taking tanks for free every once in a while. And although Tscu's now got a huge number of Goliaths, as soon as these tanks fall there will be nothing to protect them from Crazio's tank. Crazio, with the good unit composition, has taken this base. Now with a silo, Tscu long distance mining, that's pretty well done, but what are you really gaining from that? And that's the issue. Earlier at 156 supply, and now at 130. Crazio pushing onward, now again with the tank sniped. Tscu fighting for what he's worth, and that's quite a lot. Now taking a sip of the lifeblood of Crazio's by invading the base, but with 2 battle cruisers coming home to roost, and nothing important going on here at all. Oh, this is not the main, this is the main. This is just the base with all the airports, and I think that these battle cruisers should just take them out, but they don't dare to. And that's a bit of an issue because both players can't really commit, and that makes me wonder why that is, because these 2 Goliaths have been killing the entire base all while being supervised by 2 battle cruisers. At one point you should just attack, take some losses in hit points or in something else, units preferably, but you've got to cut down the enemy, and this is going to be the main base. So I'm going to call the GG. Crazio beating Tscu with a brilliant play, and going to go into the next game, which will be Killbot by Marian Diveka. And well, it's okay, 8 times the speed for the start of the game. And at the other end of the map we've got reever. Reever, of course, has been working hard, so hard. I think it's the Protoss star at the moment, and although Killbot hasn't been working as hard, it's still a very good AI to show the relative strength, and he's still taking down bots left and right, still in the top 10 of our current roster, which is pretty impressive, growing every week it seems. So if you like what you see, go visit our website. You can see the address in the bottom right. You can watch these bots play 24/7, you can learn to play against them, set them up on your own computer. Oh, this is interesting. There was a bit of a tag of war going on. And you can also learn how to code these bots. So I'd like to invite you to come check it out and add to the growing scene, which is Brute War AI. If you have been falling into this with all your passion and love, and you'd like to contribute, go and watch them, like us on Facebook, and even learn to code these monsters yourself. Now we've got a Corsair out by reever, just scouting for the moment. Killbot with the Hydra opening, and it looks like we are going to see some reevers. The question is, will the reevers be out and will the ramp hold until until the before really these Hydras go around such numbers that they will just take down the base. Unfortunately for Reavers, a couple of Hydras are chasing this one Corsair, taking a couple of pot shots at these Overlords, not really doing anything dangerous. Hydra numbers are growing though, and we really need that Reaver soon. And that is the game hanging for now. I don't know what that is. Game's hanging. I think I'm going to reload it. There you go. What is this? I'm going to reload the replay viewer. Apparently we have encountered a bug. Oh, and let's slap in the replay. Oh god. Here. So, we are back in the game, and okay, so we're back at where we started with, finally, a little bit later, but the Reaver has arrived, and now Reaver can defend its home territory. Still, the Corsair is out, getting very low on hit points, but there is a huge number. Oh, and now the Reaver's getting into the action of things, and the shuttle has tried to escape, hasn't managed it really, and I need to turn down the volume a little bit, because otherwise it's going to be too loud. Now, these Hydra numbers are pretty huge, but Killbot should really expand at this moment, because right now these Reavers, well, there's one Reaver, and we've got a shuttle somewhere. I think there's a Reaver in there as well. Has got a bit of a hard time pushing through this, but now the Hydras are making their way up to the ramp. We've got one Reaver defending with a handful of goons supporting it. All the Hydras ignoring the goons, ignoring cannons, going for the Reaver, and that will be their undoing, but... oh, hello. It seems like this game is not blessed. Where are we? 9 minutes 23 seconds. Have to reload the game, and I do apologize, never had this before. There we go. The battle is still on, we are back at where we were a couple of seconds later. It's unbelievably hard to retime your re-entry into the game. Reaver now defending with 2 Reavers, and Killbot still on 2 bases, but there is a shuttle with a Reaver in the main. And that's going to cause huge problems with the SUVs, or problems, I should say, deaths. And although the shuttle is getting very low, all the drones are dead, and there is still no 3rd base, so it's now 1 versus 2 base. Now the Reavers are coming with the Zealot reinforcements, and there's one, although the shuttle kicked it, there's one Reaver still here, taking down technology, and if this Hydra then kicks it, oh dear, now with the muter switch of 2 bases, and there is literally, well, not literally, there is a little anti-air on the side of Reavers. Will Killbot recuperate from this? I think perhaps these muters are going to take some back, but going after... oh, that won't be long, but it's buying a little bit of time. I don't think this, should take down the Nexus, or try to defend at home, because these Zealots with the Reaver, how many Reavers have we got? We've got one here, we've got one more. These muters should definitely come back, because there is only one goon, and these Hydras with a couple of Sunkens cannot hold for a single minute longer. But these muters are going all haywire over these cannons, trying to kill the goons. And that's not good, because the natural has been torn down, and these muters are have fallen as we speak. So that's a bit of a tactical googly. Didn't take down the Nexus, that is insufficient decision making. Now a couple of more muters coming to the defense, but already there are Zealots in the mineral line, and that's not a good point to start. 3rd base being taken by Reaver, and the supply difference tells everything, because it's nearly doubled army supplies, almost tripling Killbot, and of course there is still... oh, that didn't go down. Almost. Tech-wise, Killbot is okay-ish, but army-wise it's totally dead and gone. Reaver doubling the army. Now there has been some kind of attack here, or a probe transfer. Oh, we've got 2 muters. That's a bit of a problem, but now these Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So that's the main of Killbot. With the third up for reever, there's nothing more that can be done, and although these muters perhaps can take down this cannon, they will suffer some losses, and one muter will go down. So now 3 muters, but 1 goon's coming back. And with the production capacity of all the probes being transferred across the map, that's pretty pro. And the main base of Killbot still holding, so that's pretty well done. Nice sunken placement. Handful of units trying to defend, taking down this goon, but still losing units. And that's just no way to fight. Handful of muters doing the work for Killbot at this moment. Main's mining out, and the natural's unmineable at this point. These muters should do something or get out of there, but as usual they've got some problems with borders on the map. Now taking down these goons, which is pretty good, because now they can take down the natural, but the third is up. And there's no production here. Going to be a cannon. Killbot with the main secured. It's running very low, but still pushing units. And with a sizable army outside of reever's base, that's pretty good. Now moving up the ramp, there is a nice force of Protoss units there. So at this point it's still very hard to say who might take this game, because both players have got a weakness and have got a strength. The strength of reever is this third base and production capacity. Its weakness is that there is a huge army down the ramp, so he can't really move out, and the strength of course is this defensive position with 2 cannons, and now we see another reever and a High Templar. So I think before long this is going to be over, especially as Killbot didn't take another base. And yeah, now going towards the third, but we've got 1 cannon, 1 more coming up, but this might just break the third, and once the third is down, reever might be in a huge problem. But now taking the natural again, I think it will be okay if not too many probes die. And going after the probe, disregarding that cannon, taking a huge amount of damage. But a lot of probes getting killed, and the natural being taken by Killbot. This game is completely out of control. If this base falls and this army keeps sitting around at home, as you can see, there are nearly no probes left, and reever hasn't got all that much money to build again. So brilliant tactical stroke by Killbot, taking down this base and taking the natural again, because as you can see the main is getting low with just enough saturation to saturate 1 base. Oh, but he will need to come back to stop this push though. If this push reaches the natural, it's all over for Killbot. Perhaps with the reinforcements and this army he can do something, but there are 2 reevers, and I did see a High Templar, and I think it's got 2 storms already. The muters are all over it, the cannons are down, and the probes are gone. The probes are gone, the last cannon is down, meaning no more. Oh no, the cannon holds. The cannon holds, which means no more oh well, there are a couple of probes here. A couple of probes for Protoss, and now with a sunken, going strong. 1 base for the moment. Handful of muters somewhere out there, taking down the cannon, but now the base is cleared by these goons. And now it's a Protoss army. Oh, what a huge ugly storm. And the zealots take down the sunken, so this base is gone once more. Killbot out of money, cannot afford to lose this natural. If it loses the natural, it's gone. The drone should come off the line, because these muters can take down the reevers, but can they take down the goons as well? There are too many goons. I think reever is doing this. Killbot going after the reever, but disregarding the goons, letting again the natural be invaded. This 1 muter's going down. Main is completely mined out, no more bases taken, and reever's got the natural up and running again, has got the superior army with the goons into the main base. Although the probes do come off the line to help to fight, these goons are too strong for the muters, and although all the reevers have been killed, I think that reever's about to take another base down here, and the goons take charge of things. They kill so many drones, there is no more money for Killbot, and the little money it has got is being spent on drones. So for now, with a small guard on the home front and a couple, 5 goons doing most of the damage, reever is bringing this home. Killbot with a brilliant fight, brilliant tactical decisions, not strong enough in the end, should have expanded sooner. The natural is going down, natural is gone, and these goons waste no time on eggs on larvae. 1 more muter to try to stop the tide, and now we've got 2 zealots coming up. And as you can see, reever investing all of its money into something, nothing really. Now take another base. Always a good decision, especially if you run in front. So, brilliant game by both players, reever taking it. So, I consider this to be a small mini-tournament of its own. We saw Crazio earlier defeating Tscu, and we saw reever taking a game of Killbot, so now a game of these two winners of the last two games. We've got Crazio as the Red Terran with the enormously monsterful macro, and the pretty good micro and willingness to fight should be added, and reever with the superior unit tech use early in the game. So will we see Reavers again? Will we see Storm again? How are they going to play? Speeding up the initial stage of the game, because there are so many games, and minerals being mined do not interest me the least. Oh well, it does interest me, because without minerals you've really got nothing. This SCV is being pestered a lot by this Zealot and this SCV. This one Marine doing some damage. Bunker being torn down, and Crazio in a bit of a quandary, because now he's got to defend with Marines, but as the Zealots are backing off because now they see the bunker, Crazio is relatively safe and about to push his earlier started CC to the max. And of course, as Protoss, you'd like to be a base up, but some nice aggression slowing down Crazio a little bit, and although Crazio is not as slow as he used to be, oh nice SCV transfer. And the probe transfer, so these bots at this moment are very much alike. Supply wise it's also very close, and Crazio going for the early vultures. The vultures staying at home to defend. They should have a peek around, but as the Protoss army is staying at home too. Oh, here come the vultures. Charge of the light brigade. Are they going to mine up bases, or just going to take a look, or park behind these minerals? Hard to see actually. Crazio going for the eBay and another depot, so going very eco-heavy at the start. reever doing the same, but spending its money not on infrastructure but on technology, and with only 3 gates now with the Robo Bay, and I think this is the first reever, so perhaps going to do some shuttle aggression. Crazio now with locking it down with the bunker and the turret, while the vultures are moving all over the map, taking a look where the enemy might be. reever now at the back foot, but moving out. Of course, against vultures you can push them back with goons. You've got to be careful not to swallow too many mines. Oh, and oh god, I missed that! This one reever is tearing down the entire base of Crazio. That's absolutely absurd. Oh, that mine hit. Oh, no, the Scarab duds, and all these SCVs are getting cornered. Now we've got 2 tanks coming up, the reever eating a shot. But this, ooh, that's a huge Scarab hit on that tank. But now, and I dare say this reever has paid for itself already, now with the Wraith and the tanks, going to bring this aggression back home, but not before doing a hell of a lot of damage. Another building falling, and if you look at the damage which has been done to this part of Crazio's base, supply-wise, reever is up a base, and here comes the push at the front. One tank gets caught immediately. The other tanks come back from defending the reever, and the Wraiths are coming back too, but what can Wraiths do against this many goons? Crazio, oh no, that's not a base, that's just a couple of spider mines. Crazio for the moment being on the back foot, 30-40 supply down, and reever with a huge aggression. Oh, and there is another reever coming off the, oh dear, and here goes the shuttle, and this reever is doing substantially less damage than the first one, not getting off another shot on these tanks. Perhaps a couple of turrets will shut this down completely. But for now, reever gaining a lot of momentum by the use of these shuttled reevers. That's very good. Crazio still on 2 bases, should be looking to take the 3rd, but hasn't really got the defenses safe at his main and natural, because there's bound to be another reever soon, and that's going to do a huge amount of damage again. Now Crazio going for the all-out defense. The bunker has fallen. The Zealots are being pushed down. Oh, and that storm misses. So that's you're going to need a little bit of body of Zealots and goons to make a push with the High Templar work. Crazio swarming out, leaving the choke of the natural, setting up shop a little bit further into the map. That's always good. Nice storms. 2 stacked storms fail to take down this one siege tank, being immediately repaired by 2 SCVs. And you can see that these players are getting so incredibly good. These incremental upgrades every week are really pushing them. Their decision making is growing sharper by the day. It's macroing all over the place. It's making the right kind of unit switches. Unit composition are optimized, and it's so very, very aggressive. Just look at that. Oh god, another, and that's going to hurt because another reever entered the base, and the reever should take down this turret because then the shuttle would have free reign. Unfortunately, it's not doing so, only now taking a shot. A lot of SCVs die again, and Crazio being pushed back once more. Perhaps bwapi should have expanded behind this, but at this moment is not doing so. So that's a bit of an issue, but still 50 supply up versus Crazio. That's no mean feat. Meanwhile, Main still got some money, Natural still got some money, Crazio not in a huge spot. Main of bwapi is getting low, Natural's getting low too, but the fourth has been taken. As you can see, bwapi's got 20 more workers than Crazio, and now this push, oh, with the Arbiter, and look at, I'm going to slow this down to normal speed because this is just brilliant. We've got a Corsair, we've got an Observer, we've got an Arbiter, we've got High Templars, and we've got Reavers, and look at that Scarab hit. It's just doing so much damage all over the place. Crazio now trying to scout with a vessel of its own, but oh, and the Stasis Siege Tank. There is nothing to defend. 2 more tanks are coming to help out, but they need to be pretty quick because bwapi has got some kind of a forward position for, I assume, gateways, perhaps stargates, but bwapi still with the push. Now the siege tanks have set up shop, the SCV is getting repaired, and with the turret and the science vessel there is enough scouting. Oh, these should be taken down. Stat these zealots. Oh, and the Matrix just in time. That's very, very pro. The Marines have left the bunker. That's a bit of an issue. But still, with 3 siege tanks, you can hold a lot of... Oh, look at that. These Reavers have found the perfect place to be safe for this siege tank, and it will be a joy to see. Oh, and it blows up all the units all at once. Crazio on the back foot. Only half the supply of Protoss at this moment. Certainly half of the army supply. And bwapi fighting a hell of a fight. That's brilliant. With some proxy production here, Crazio for now seems to have cleared the choke towards the Natural, but Main getting, well, not really low because the SCV saturation is not up to scratch. But in general, you would like to take a 3rd or a 4th at this point, just to be safe, because bwapi took another base. Looking to take one more, I think, is there. Oh, we've got another Reaver, just caught that, and all the SCVs are cornered here between the turret and the armory, and although the shuttle again is sniped, you really need to have one more turret here to prevent this kind of Reaver incursions, because you're suffering so much. bwapi not letting down for a moment, and now back in the main battle with one Arbiter, only one Arbiter. Well, one Arbiter is doing a hell of a lot of work with the gateway units and with the tech units too, so doing a very, very good job at keeping Crazio on the back foot. Crazio really needs a 3rd, going to be starved at any moment, and although the siege tanks are doing a lot of damage with the goons and the zealots beating the path for the higher tech units, now even zealots in the tank lines, that's not good for Crazio at all. Although he seemed to be stabilizing somewhat. Ooh, that was a very, very near miss of that Scarab. bwapi playing like an absolute monster. Could take another base because he's not really mining from these 2 bases anymore. But still waging a very effective 2-base war against Crazio. Crazio now having done away with the pressure for the moment. The main is getting low, and we have got... Where is it? I did see an observer here scouting out Crazio's base all the time. Crazio now growing in strength, pushing out a little bit, has got a nice defensive position here with the bridges, and units moving off the high ground will get pummeled by the tanks. Now should be taking the 3rd, please. Or is he going to take this base as it's easier to defend? I think it is. Will this mine? Yeah, that mine will be engaged. Crazio at this moment hasn't got the minerals yet, but we'll have them soon, and really should save those 400 minerals for the base. Oh, and a drop gets sniped by an Arbiter. That's pretty pro. Where is bwapi's army? It's all over the place, really, and that's surprising because it was doing so well with the pressure, and this dropship's being cornered between the cannons and the Arbiter. I don't know what it's going to do. Meanwhile, Crazio pushing out, and the army count for bwapi is actually pretty low. although there is a lot of high tech, they should storm now while the units are clustered. One storm sort of misses, the other one sort of hits, taking down one tank. Oh, and that's another. Oh, the storms are all over the place. Crazio suffering a huge amount of damage. The goons taking a huge toll too in blue soup. But we've got an arbiter, and there are no more. Oh, one more storm hits. One more storm hits. Now it's 2 reavers and a goon against one more tank. One more scarab will settle this tank, and the tank goes down. Crazio being again on the back foot. Almost half of the supply of B reavers, and although no, the third base has not been taken. The main is nearly gone. The natural is gone actually. So B reaver taking a huge leap. Now we're at the 5th base in the lap of Crazio's, in full view of Crazio's main base. Crazio with the good tank position on the high ground and the detection against that arbiter. But there is a zealot out there as well. One more scarab, oh, and it goes down. So B reaver in a commanding position, taking all bases on the map. Oh, not really, it's a little bit too enthusiastic. Finally, this shuttle getting shut down. But with a couple of cannons being put up against any ground troops entering, the reaver will have some kind of defense against wraiths too, so he can harbor a shuttle for a little bit. Crazio now, the SUV has been chased off here by something. Crazio is in a huge problem because the supply he's down, and although this reaver will fall, as you can see, the reaver is up in supply, and what's worse, it's up in bases. So one cannon did fall, but there is an arbiter coming to the rescue at monstrous speed, and now with the cannon this vulture will fall. The reaver has got 1, possibly 2 bases it can mine from. Crazio has got nothing, and although Crazio's got the upgrades, has got the unit composition, I doubt it will have the units anytime soon to make an effective fist against B reaver to take a 3rd base. So this is a brilliant game, and there's nothing more to be said about that. Probe transfer going well, so it's now 3 versus 0 base. Oh, it's 120% of the base. Oh, and this is very hard to cast because there are combatants here, combatants there. Oh, and B reaver keeping its composition together. That's pretty well done. Now with 2 arbiters, more tech units, and although this zealot is going to run into the quagmire of this tank fire, it is clear that Crazio at this point doesn't really stand a chance, because these are his last minerals, and this expeditionary force is all that stands between Crazio and total destruction, at least in this game. So we saw earlier B reaver taking a very good game against Killbot, and although Crazio took down the newly updated Tscu, right now it's in a huge mess because we've got 2 arbiters overhead, the science vessel doesn't really dare to engage, and we've got all kinds of tech units lurking in the wings. We've got High Templars ready to storm. That's a pretty cool storm, a lot of damage done. 2 more arbiters, no, it's still the 2 same arbiters. And if you look at the army composition of B reavers, the army supply is not really all that great. There are all units all over the place, but the main push is really comprised of high-tech units doing a lot of damage, and also because they're rather dispersed, they don't really form a good target for tanks to do lots of splash damage, so that's pretty well done. This base now being fortified, being well saturated, doing a lot of damage to Crazio in the economic department, and this unit's, oh look at that, I think perhaps that the entire army is, no, not the entire army is moving as one, but there are a lot of units all over the place, and B reaver just biding its time with all the observers flying around, very well placed, just figuring out where Crazio is going to be weakest and taking their time. As you can see, B reaver 100 supply up, Crazio still stuck into the choke of its own natural. The main is nearly gone, the natural is gone, should really have taken a 3rd. And now the siege appears to be on, because as soon as these Templar are going to get into range, that's a huge amount of damage versus all these crawling vultures. Another very good storm, and although there is a lot of blue soup going on, with the Corsairs, if you added some disruption web, you could do so much damage. But more storms are coming. Oh, and that's a pretty pro Scarab. Oh, and oh no, the SUV just move out of range. Oh, our radiated High Templar. How often do you see that in PvP? And there we go, Crazio trying to take this base, but this one tank is going to go down surely. And now all the defensive measures for Crazio are gone. There are some more units here, but there is a reever again, and although the shuttle has been taken down, these reever incursions have been too much. Have kept Crazio from expanding, from finding the rest to set up shop. This turret cover is not up to spec. There was one turret here, so a huge pathway into the main base of Crazio, and ooh, that scarab is going to dud. Oh no, it hits. And these SCVs are in a huge problem. If this reever doesn't get sniped soon, going after the vulture, one more shot and takes down the comsat. Oh, that's pretty good. And look at everything's burning in the main of Crazio. The naturals being populated by Arbiter's goons and, of course, reevers. More units floating in, and there's just one long procession of reevers making its way of destruction into the base of Crazio. One more base taken by bwapi. bwapi, with 50 supply from Max, is keeping the pressure on, making very good decision all the time. And ooh, that was an interesting scarab. But as you can see, although Crazio, the master of, well, Terran really at this point, together with Tscu and Lebot, falling to the might which is Protoss. And this is how you play Protoss, just being very aggressive, never letting up with the harass. Look at how many reevers there are in Crazio's main. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 reevers, plus all the infantry and the goons, so that's pretty amazing. bwapi is, well, the mineral income is okay, but he's keeping it down so well. Look at that, he's only almost never touching 100 minerals, keeping it down so very well. Lots of gas that could do something with an Archon brigade or something like that. But those are minor issues. If you look at how he dismantled Crazio, that's just bloody brilliant. Oh, that's blue soupy again. Too bad. Oh, and these two wraiths are pretty low, and one taken down by the Ser, and one by the goon, and now this science vessel is defenseless, as is Crazio's rest of the base. bwapi taking the game, going off into the next game, and oh well, let's take that one a little bit later. Because I had another game of Crazio's queued, and that was not really what I had in mind, because I've been doing Crazio too much already. We've got Geobot by Tscu, and we've got Mrave by Mr. Mrave. And Mrave has been doing pretty well as a Protoss of its own. We've got a bit of a Protoss resurgence. We've got Purple Wave, we've got Mrave, and earlier, of course, we saw bwapi doing quite well against Crazio. Mrave has got a strategy of its own, which we'll see later, and Geobot, although it hasn't been updated in a while, is still pretty good. Still one of the top 3 Zerg out there. No, top 5 actually, because we've got 2 new Zergs which have been doing pretty well, namely Steamhammer and Alien. So I think this is the number 5 Zerg, which doesn't mean it's bad. It can still take heavy beating and deal a heavy punch. So Mrave going for Zealot pressure, handful of Zealots moving out. What is Geobot going to do? Going for a creep colony, which is going to morph into a sunken colony, which will arrive just in time with a handful of Lings, and hopefully some Hydras too. The Lings and the Sunkens, O2 Sunkens, that's pretty well done. Going to shut this meager band of Zealots down. Zealots head back to base, and Mrave, I think, is saving for another quick Nexus. Going for range, going for goons, and going for a probe, which is being blocked by these units being a bloody nuisance on the ramp, giving Geobot the advantage to take more the economic lead. Supply-wise, Mrave is still ahead, but as long as these gateway units keep blocking the ramp, oh, there we go. So here comes the natural, and now these units are moving out. Let's take count. We've got 6 Zealots, 4 goons, 6 Zealots, 5 goons, and 1 more goon coming from behind. We've got a couple of lurkers, handful of Zerglings, and that's just a pretty good build, and another... Okay, well, good luck, have fun attacking into that. And they are going for the Zerglings, but these lurkers are doing so much damage, and the goons are not there yet. And all the Zealots get cut down at the cost of only a handful of Zerglings. That's pretty well done. But of course, the natural is brewing behind all this for Mrave. Now, this is a very, very sturdy defensive position, because you've got the choke, you've got the lurkers, and you've got almost 4 Sunkens. So I don't know what the big idea is. Of course, Protoss now taking a third base, which is pretty well done. If you see something like this, you say, well, that is 200 minerals in drones, 4 drones which are not mining. It is 300 for building costs of creep colony, and then 200 more for the sunken upgrade. So all in all, this is 700 minerals, at the cost of which we can easily stamp out of the ground a new base and build some gateway units along with it. Now, of course, Mrave has got a name called Rave. It's the name of the author as well. So I don't know if it's going to do reever again. We might do something with Dark Templars or High Templars as well. All the while, Geobot now perhaps taking the third. Very late with the third, going for a huge number of lurkers, which aren't doing anything at the moment. Have we got a probe transfer? Haven't got a probe transfer, just some probes being built. And now we've got the Templar Archives, we've got Reaver Tech, and the question is, what is going to be done with that? Have we got an observatory? That would be nice. We've got an observatory. The question is, have we got an observer? Because by now there are a lot of lurkers. And perhaps some upgrades too. Third base being taken for Zerg, and these probes, the drones should not move in there. But again, the Protoss army moves back, and it will be interesting to see, will Mrave take another base now? Of course, the third coming up for Geobot, and Geobot should take another base. Yep, there we go. And now I saw a reever somewhere. Yep, there it is. But now we've got, how many lurkers have we got? We've got at least 20. And all the lings by themselves alone, they could take a huge chunk of this Zealot's army. And now it's lings and lurkers versus goons. And all the lurkers coming. Oh, there is a huge mess up of lurkers here, which takes some time and burrowing and moving out. But now we've got a bit of a lurker versus goon battle going on. Of course, we've got an observer overhead, but the lurker numbers are just so huge that we really need those reevers into the fight as well. And some lings will catch the goon fire. These lurkers will leapfrog over there, and look at the amount of lurkers coming. That's just... This lurker tangle still hasn't untangled itself. That's pretty pro. Every once in a while one slips out and the other ones just move around, or are they going to go into that queue as well? Now the reevers. The reevers have arrived, and with these observers detecting and the reevers firing blow after blow, of course it's 4 bases now, 3 versus 3 base, but Protoss in a huge supply lead, and these reevers aren't being damaged at all. These lurkers just dying left and right, and mainly in the center. Every lurker taking a step forward. Oh, look at that. That's just some really hard hitting. But now the lings are arriving, and if these lurkers rule range, oh, just before they're about to fire, they die. And now with the Templars and 2 more reevers, look at this army. This is just an insane army. You've got 5 reevers, 2 high Templars, and a couple of goons, and it doesn't matter how many lurkers you have, they will all die, and die pretty fast. Now 4th base up for Geobot, 5th base up for Geobot. 3rd base for Protoss, main getting very low. This army needs to do a lot of damage, otherwise it will be a huge mess. And still we've got a number of lurkers here. I think that Geobot is gathering steam for another attack. This Overlord kicks it, but by the time these Templar arrive, oh, they have already spent their storms. There will be quite a considerable number of storms. A muter switch might do a lot of good. Question is, how is Geobot going to stop this amount of storms? And a little bit further in the rear, reevers. And 2 more reevers coming. That's insane. It's just one huge queue of reevers. Oh, that was the ugliest storm of the day I will have missed for now. And these High Templars are low. These goons all get cut down. Oh, and look at the amount. It's just a host of reevers engaging this Zerg defensive position. And ooh, I thought at the start, what can break down this kind of Zerg defensive position? Well, the answer to that is 5 reevers. And if these 5 reevers aren't quick about it, there are 2 more to come. So at this point, it's a huge mess of reevers outside of the Zerg base, and these paltry 4 Sunkens won't stand a hell of a chance. Now, what will Zerg do? The question is, what will it do? What can it do? Perhaps flank all these units, but as you can see, we've now got 2 more reevers added to the cavalry. The heavy machinery has arrived, and the storm too. All these lings evaporate the minute they enter that, and for every ling there are about 7 Look at that! It's just one huge bombardment of scarabs. This is power play. A vulgar display of it. Every reaver gets stormed thrice. And then also a couple of... There isn't really a couple word for 10, is there? There are so many scarabs. There are scarabs all over the place. We've got 7 reavers, 5 High Templars, and then the infantry as well. And more units are coming. So will these 2 reavers make it back to the main group? I think they will, because this battle group is taking sweet time entering the base. Of course, there are some units trickling in from the colonies, but as you can see, what they will do, the answer to that is bloody all. One scarab takes care of one, the other of the other, and that's the reinforcement bit for then cleared. Now we've got one huge army of reavers, and if you look at the army supply, Mrave 100 supply up. Meanwhile taking another base, because yeah, well, the main is out, natural will be gone soon too. But look at this huge mess of reavers, and that is really what these modern Protosses are adding to the game. Shuttles, reavers and High Templars, which have been lacking so hard. A lot of Protosses just went for a University of Alberta-Bot clone with a lot of Zealot rushes, Dark Templar rushes. But if you really want the bread and butter of the Protoss army, you need reavers and you need High Templars. Look at that! There are just so few Zerg units. Everyone takes at least... How many have we got? We've got 10 reavers and we've got 5 High Templars. So for every unit popping out, there are at least... The ground is alive with blue balls. It's really, really messy. One more reaver trying to save the day, but... Oh, are you listening to that music? Look at that! The entire base is blanketed in storm. This is the Terran ending music where the Master Ra colony is being disbanded by Stukov and General de Gaulle from the Brute War music, and it's a huge mess. Of course, this Reaver army will take its sweet time making its way across the base, but this base is being hammered into the ground in record speed. Look at that. This thing has got 2,500 hit points, but with 125 for each blow, it's going down in a jiffy. So if you want to learn how to play Protoss, take a look at this game and just build Reavers. Okay, so because these Reavers are pretty slow, going to speed up the game. Of course, we've got 2 more bases here, and Zerg is trying to rebuild. I don't think the Zerg base has been spotted yet. Oh, well, this is cute. Where is the air support? There is no air support. And how many Reavers will we get? Oh, and finally... No. Where is the observer? There is no observer, so perhaps all these Reavers will go down to... Oh, that's pity. That's a pity. I thought perhaps the splash damage to the Zealots might kill these Reavers too, but unfortunately the Reavers which took down the natural defenses and main base of Geobot are now going to go down to 2 lurkers. Geobot on the other end of the map is rebuilding and doing a lot of damage with these 2 lurkers here, which are keeping mum, which is a very good thing to do if the observer is just out of range. Mrave undeterred, building more and more Reavers, and the question is, will Geobot be by this strange omission in Mrave's game plan? Oh, and now the Reavers get found out because this poor silly observer shifted a couple of inches. Now we've got breakdancing High Templars, and the war train is on the move again. Where is it going? Has it found the enemy base? Perhaps Geobot is luring the enemy onto its coast with... oh, there it is. It has been found. So now we've got 1 Reaver, and this time, the observer will spot it. We've got 1 more, we've got 2 lurkers, and the observer will spot it. Or perhaps the Templars will this time storm it, even though they cannot see it. Or perhaps this time... the lurkers will take damage from friendly fire, otherwise this army is in for a huge slaughtering. Oh, look at that! Look at that! And now the observer is moving. It's moving back, and all the Protoss army is going down. The Zerg eco is being stormed, but all the High Templars are parked right on top of the lurkers. And this one observer's got a lot of to answer for. It's going to be charged with war crimes at the Protoss Arbiter Tribunal, because it's not... Look at it, the entire Protoss army, and now it's moving into range, but will these... I think the Protoss army, despite the atrocities committed by this one observer, will prevail. they will prevail, because there are still 2 lurkers, and the reinforcements of Zerg are too few and too far away to do it. But if this observer goes down, there will be... And the observer... Oh, this observer is so crucial to this game. The observer is so crucial to the game, I can hardly cast it into words how important it has been. Where is it now? It's still there, and now the reavers are keeping these two at a time poultry zerglings at bay. Look at that. Bam! Goes 4th, 5th, all are dying, and that's the end of the Zerg army. And this was the Zerg main. So again, the Zerg main has been quashed, and Mrave, although it has got some very, very suspect observer movement, and although its scouting for hidden bases is very, very lacking, still doing the works with these reavers. What a beautiful units they are. And of course we've got an entire train of High Templars coming up. Look at the gas stacked by Protoss, it's insane. Now this base seems to have been found as well. Where is the Observer? The Observer surely is the hero of this game. It used to hang out here. Can I spot it somewhere? Or has it finally kicked it? Oh no, it's here. So my advice to Mrave is build a couple of more observers and have them move around just a tad more, because we have seen, or I've seen 200 supply at least worth of high-tech units being slaughtered by a handful of lurkers. Geobot should be back. Oh, look at that. That's just not good. Of course, this base poses more of a threat, but oh well. No way in hell Zerg is going to come back. If this hatchery goes down, I'm going to call GG, because this can't go on forever. And I've seen, oh look at that, I won't spoil my appetite for the blue balls bot Mrave any longer. So Mrave takes the game, GG. And because I like ZVP so much, I would like to start another game, which isn't working. Okay, so having some issues with the replay viewer at this moment, but we are going to go into the next game, which is another PvZ with 2 different bots. I spoke about them earlier. I think it's the worst Terran and Protoss nightmare at the moment. It's Steamhammer, and at the other end of the map, it's the worst Zerg, and well, everything else nightmare. It's bwapi. bwapi is a monster. It's a veritable monster of a bot. Took down Crazio, took down Killbot, and the question is, will New League Steamhammer be able to stop its advance into today's broadcast? Well, there's not really an objective to that, but I am just making some hype for some reason. So, first scout going to find the enemy. I will have to reset now, I think of it, the soundtrack, because we're already an hour into the game. That's very, very good. These games are so amazing, and that's why I don't like... Oh god, not again! Not again! Please! The replay viewer has not had a good day today. So, 2 minutes into the game, going to have to reset the sound as well. And 2 minutes into the game, we were somewhere around here. The replay viewer is not having a good day today. Or it must be me. Might be me. My computer prowess is so limited that I might very easily be causing these problems myself. And this probe is harassing. It's causing a lot of mining time lost. That's pretty good. All the while, 209. What the hell? Okay, so we've got to make an entry into the game again at further away, about halfway through. There is some reason that these games are hiccuping for some reason, and 2:43 we are now. Handful of Zerglings making its way across the probe. Oh, and I would like if that would keep mum. The probe has been pestering these drones long enough, but isn't really getting anything done. Now we've got these Lings entering the Protoss base. Have we got any units? We've got 2 Zealots. So at this point, Zerg is in a bit of a quandary. Although there are a lot of Lings coming up, 2 Zealots are more than enough to deal with that. And of course, Steamhammer is going to have to deal with, what is this? Going to be a Cyber Core soon. So, oh, look at that. Look at the Zergling numbers. There are a huge amount of Zerglings, and the Zealots are falling left and right. Oh, left and right. That's 2 Zealots. This Zealot is going not not going to go down. The probes are defending like manly probes should do. And look at all these damaged lings in the rear. Every time a ling gets below the last hit point, it moves back. But of course they will regenerate and they will come back for more. And this is some kind of interesting zealot ling pressure. And these probes, although they are fighting badly damaged lings, are no match for them. And every time a zealot pops out, there is a huge number of lings which is retreating, which is trying to attack. And of course there are fresh lings coming in as well for some reason. So mineral line of Protoss severely depleted, and mineral line of Zerg is still untouched because this probe has moved on or off or out or I don't know. And all the probes are dying, so very clever, heavy aggression build by Steamhammer, and now all the probes are gone, and this is how you take down Steamhammer with a very early aggression. So without further ado, going to go into the next game, which is that other formidable Zerg called Alien. And Alien, well, I was growing a little bit lyrical about Alien last week because it was doing so well. About Tscu, enough has been said. It just does some crazy stuff, and I think that this is going to be a beautiful game too for that reason. Now, I must say that I must say that Alien is going for some kind of aggression as well, because here we see the first batch of lings, and Tscu Protoss going for a Nexus first into Gateway, into Forge, into no units at all, into one big mess. These two cannons, yeah, haha, will never ever get up. Will they get cancelled, or will they will get killed? And of course the probes come off the line at this point, and there are no more lings following it up. But oh, they might just hold. These lings are so weak, and these probes of Tscu are so vicious. Tscu plopping down 3 cannons and now going into a master plan of its own. But the damage has been done. Alien now double the supply and double the workers, so in a good position to take the mid game on, or the early game. This was the very early game. And Tscu, is this Tscu or is this Thomas Weider's Ximp? I don't really know at this point. Could be either one, because Ximp, the carrier bot, also likes walling itself off with cannons, sitting back behind that and building the only unit that is still a threat to most AI behavior, the carrier with the mothership and all the 8 semi-independent interceptors. Now we've got the Hydras, but look at how many cannons there are here. It's quite a lot, and Tscu going for some kind of tech. The Hydras are now arriving, and these cannons are not really well placed, but I think they could do a considerable amount of damage to these Hydras. The Hydras are moving back, taking some losses in the process. They are moving in and out and shaking it all about, losing and laying down their lives. Big pity. So Tscu coming back into the game. Worker count is better than Zerg's at this point, which is surprising. And this is going to be, I think, a Spire. Yep. Going to be a Spire, and as you can see, Zerg has got Overlords at most expansions, so keeping close tabs on Tscu's whereabouts. We've got a Forge, we've got a Cyber Core. Will this be a Citadel, or it could only be a Citadel at this point? Tscu with a nice amount of money stacked. I think will it do some kind of Templar tech, perhaps the Dark Archon build. Oh, that's a very quick Queen's Nest. No further expansion coming up, so both players sitting back a little bit, taking their time to tech something. And Tscu is going for... oh, hello, Robo Bay, another pylon, and Reavers too. So Tscu 2 has seen light, going for, I think, Reavers and shuttled Reavers at that. And 2 more buildings. Will this be the Templar Archives? For some kind of cute harass, perhaps. Meanwhile, Zerg going for a very quick hive and a handful of combat units. So this is a bit of a strange game, because we've got 5 cannons and the Zerg army is, well, stoppable at this point by 5 cannons, I'd say. growing a tiny little bit. Now Tscu with the first reaver. As soon as this reaver enters this combat area, oh, there are a handful of zealots too. So for now Tscu is pretty safe. Third base for Zerg coming up, and of course the hive. So I wonder what this is going to be. The reaver taking its sweet time. My god, these things are slow. And Zerg now pressing the issue, but the zealots are coming to defend. And although the Hydras are kiting them somewhat effectively, one falls to the cannons and zealots combine tactics. Reaver enters the combat area and is going to stop all that. Now we've got a shuttle coming. Oh god, not another one. So the question now is, where is that shuttle going? This shuttle is trying to drop the Reaver on the high ground to deter all the units on the low ground, which isn't really working, but of course it doesn't know that, because I think it's not considering high-low ground positions while determining where to drop the Reaver. But of course the cannons are somewhat well placed, and Zerg is pursuing a strange game plan of its own with Ultras. So are we going to see Ultras into Ultra Reaver battles? And the Hydras, oh, the Hydras are in a suboptimal position to say the least. These Reaver takes care of them all, and the other Hydras are falling at the gates of cannons. Of course, Zerg pressure now mounting a little bit. Will we have Ultras yet? I don't know. The Zealots and cannons and the Reaver are doing a good job. The question is, what is Tscu going to do next? We've got one Reaver doing cute stuff on the high ground, but it's not really all that effective. Meanwhile, Zerg seems to have stepped up its aggression, and we've got one Corsair out there chasing one Overlord. I like these wide-scale engagements. And now the Reavers were... oh god, the Reaver is doing so much damage, now pulling off while there is an Ultra in the cannon line. And as the Ultra's in the cannon line... ooh, that is very, very well done. The cannon line holds for some miraculous reason, and now Tscu is losing the Reaver! Reaver! Okay, one Ling goes down. For now, Tscu seems to have won the field with the one Reaver in the shuttle. And what's coming here? There are a lot of upgrades blinking, and that's pretty cute. This one Ultra is trying to decide what to do, is going to run into its death here, so it's a good thing that it doesn't engage there. We've got one Shuttle Reaver here, and I think there is one there as well, or is the Reaver dead? How am I going to cast that? I don't know. One pair of Corsairs here, Shuttle Reaver there, and what is this? Oh, we've got another Shuttle Reaver here. So all at once we've got 4 Shuttle Reavers. The Zerg army is dispersed. We've got one semi-dead Ultra standing around here. 4th base being taken, but at this point it hardly matters because there is so much Protoss tech into the air. Oh, one more Reaver. What's it going to do? And I think Tscu should take into consideration the cooldown time of Reavers. But otherwise it's doing pretty well. Now with a 3rd base, with 2 cannons, brilliantly placed because there will be all kinds of probes messing up the Zerglings and Ultras movements if they want to go after these cannons. Now we've got the Reavers and we've got the... oh hello, we've got 4 Corsairs out there. 4 Corsairs and try to get an Overlord out. That's the question. Now we've got a handful of Ultras into the choke, but the Zealots have caught one and they're going to cut it to pieces to have a nice barbecue. Meanwhile, was that? No, that's not Dark Archon. The Reaver's going to help a little hand or little crawly feet. And doing a lot of damage. Oh, look at that. That Reaver damage is so juicy. Meanwhile, the Corsairs have surrounded the Zerg base, keeping a nice, healthy pressure on these Overlords. There isn't an Overlord which isn't damaged at this... oh, well, there are a couple. Half of the Overlords, more than half of the Overlords are damaged, a couple of them badly. And the 3rd base has been decimated, but repopulated, so that's doing pretty well at all. This one Zealot is not going to fall because the Ultra retreats, and if you look at the supply, Alien is doing its best with 40 supply, while Tscu is pulling all the stops and adding more and more Shuttled Reavers to the mix. So if your Zerg base looks like this, it's time to tap out, I think. Because there are vultures, not vultures, or they behave like vultures, Reavers everywhere. Oh, that was an ugly shot on the drones. Zealots into the natural and shuttle reavers all over the place. So Tscu with a very, very, very tight defense and some missing conceptions about dropping reavers on high ground while the enemy's on the low ground and not reachable. This Ultra doing a nice bit of damage, but going to take a huge stumping from this reaver. Tscu with the shuttle reavers, and I dare say that spring is the spring of the shuttle reaver. We've got B-Reaver, we've got Mrave, and we've got Purple Wave. We have got Mrave, B-Reaver. No, shut up. And we've got another Protoss doing great stuff. It is called Mrave Steamhammer. No Steamhammer though. B-Reaver, Mrave, Tscu Protoss. Oh, and Purple Wave, that's it. So, that's enough about that. Going to give the game to Tscu and going on with the next game, which is Purple Wave via Iron Fist Jadian and Kbot. And Kbot is a self-described marine rusher and a mover, so let's look how it's going to play out. I took this replay because I thought, well, Purple Wave should stomp that, but the game was surprisingly long, so either something silly is going to happen or Kbot is going to do something cute. And I hope it's going to be the latter. Now we've got a handful of marines searching the base, the map, building more barracks, more depots and more SCVs. Always a good idea. How can you go wrong with that? So the first marines are going centering now in centering up to the Terran base, are going to congregate somewhere around here. One zealot is going to take down one, going to take down two, losing a bit of its shield, two more marines, three more marines, and of course marines are dying left and right because their movement is so silly. But at this point we've got 1, 2, 3 barracks constantly producing marines, and the Protoss is going to do some damage to that. Might do better with medics, but still Protoss appears to be suiciding a lot of forces into these marines. By now we've got quite a sizable number of marines, and the question is what will happen next. Purple Wave going for the 2-gate goon build with the expansion, so pretty safe at this point. And Kbot is going for marines. A lot of marines. Sees the SCV production. It's got a lot of minerals stacked. Going to take another base. No, not really. And the supply wise, it's doing pretty okay too. Look at all these. This is a huge. I need a higher resolution to cast this because these marines are moving so erratically all over the map. Only one of them is at the time attacking, doing very little bit of damage and then retreating again. No, these two are working in tandem, dying in tandem, but there are more marines coming up. So another base coming by Kbot. So that's going to be a 2-base marine thing, and these goons die to the marines. So at this time it's a bit of a standoff with the 3rd base taken for Purple Wave. 3rd base of Terran being stamped down. Lots of marines, and Purple Wave's got a bit of a money issue. Kbot hasn't, but that's mainly because so many marines are dying. These goons are going to die too. And Kbot with a lot of workers. Oh, Purple Wave would like to have this base, and Kbot taking this base. So might build more barracks because it's going to make a huge amount of money, and it will need to make marines. The marines now are more aggressive and attacking more as a team, so to speak. This zealot will not even kill one. Oh, we've now got a Dark Templar, so that's going to be a bit of an issue, because I didn't think that I saw gas or let alone a comsat. So now it's a 5-base Protoss with Dark Templars versus pure Marines. Imagine how that's going to go, and the question is, why is it taking so long? So this is that base by Terran. Got one more base by Terran, and lots of casualties left and right. But Terran is just expanding so foolhardily, it's taking the map and swarming it with SCVs, with Marines. and just making a mess of things. Purple Wave not really gaining in supply for some reason, because these Marines are so pro, and I think there are only 2 Dark Templars, and it's really a pity I can't see how many kills they've got, because by now it must be quite a lot. So, Purple Wave going for all-out Gateway Army, and supply-wise they are quite even. Now, this base going down, so I think that over the long run, Purple Wave would gain the advantage. A lot of Marines here, so the natural choke is still safe. Kbot dropping a little bit in supply, now 10, 15 supply down. But there is a huge number of Marines here. This base still untouched. And this tandem of 2 Dark Templars is sniping Marines for their lives, but there are just so many barracks that these Marines... Okay, now finally Purple Wave is breaking into the natural, and look at all these Marines, oh god. And these Dark Templars. Oh god, they must have 100 kills each, if not more. If not more. So all the Marines are evacuating to this base for some reason. And now the main army is going to tear into this production facility because there's no more mining going on. No more tech coming out of Purple Wave. It's got a 20k mineral stacked. And this is the main base. So that's that. Let's see if it's going to find the new Terran homeland where it's trying to rebuild. It is trying to rebuild, but I think... Oh, Protoss taking this part of the map too. Will Protoss see it? Oh, sorry about that. Now brushing my hand across the mic. Will Protoss see it? Protoss is just checking all the bases, but not really doing much about this. And Terran retaking these 2 bases for some reason. This one too. There's nothing there, but hey, well, you know. Now, where is the Protoss army? I think it's here. Oh, and that's the end of the game. Must have timed out. Okay, so got another game, and this is Siri by Siri and Rajin Bobc by a person of the same name, one should wonder. And I took this game because, well, someone said, well, why do you show everything that's going right and going brilliantly? Because there are also so many things which go absolutely horribly wrong. And one of the things which is going wrong is that Rajin Bobc is mining minerals from the natural, all while having still four patches of minerals left where it has not yet mined. Of course, this is going to be a bit of a problem with your game plan. Siri taking a very fast natural into the mineral only, and a zealot going absolutely bonkers. 2 zealots going absolutely, 3 zealots, how many are there? 4 zealots going haywire, 5 zealots being loopy, and so forth. Terran, meanwhile, ruining its economy by having all of its mineral mining dislodged to the natural for some reason, I don't know why. But that's that, as you see, and the Protoss army is going crazy here, taking another base and going for reevers. So Siri was the first Protoss who used reevers, unfortunately not with shuttles, so you know how fast these beings can be. And Rajin Bobc is going absolutely insane, building Marines and probably dying to this army. Although the Marines can pack quite a punch, there is just too much of a gateway army here. That is going to be detrimental to their general health. So that was an anti-pimp display. I have got, I think, yeah, 3 more games, and one of them is Steamhammer, the early aggression bot we saw earlier, but it can do so much more. So we're going to see what it's going to do now. At the other end of the map we've got Lebot CIG 2016, and I think that this version is the best one we got at the server at the moment. Steamhammer now not going for the early aggression, but going for an early expansion. Lebot going for a couple of Marines guarding the bridges and an early expansion of its own. Steamhammer going for a very, very, very quick lair with only 4 Zerglings keeping tabs on these Terran Marines. Lebot being very defensive with 2 bunkers at the bridges. I doubt you'd get past that anytime soon with the Zergling army. But I doubt that that was Steamhammer's game plan, because this appears to be, by the speed of it, either a nest or a spire. I hope it's a spire. It is a spire. So now we have not got any larvae, so no units. And that's a bit silly, because with 1800 minerals you could have taken 2 bases or built a lot of hatcheries, and thus having more larvae. Army supply of Zerg is nothing, basically, and we've got 2 muters, 3 muters of 2. Oh, look at that, that's some cute dancing. Terran trying to move out or to guard its bridges. Zerg posturing now with 4 muters. They could snipe this vulture if it sticks its nose out too far. Yep, going to catch a couple of glaive worms. And more muters on the way. All of this onto hatcheries, which is a rather interesting build, because you could have built a lot of hatcheries with all that money. Even off 2 bases. So mutant numbers are growing steadily, Zergling numbers are growing okayly. Marine numbers with medics are growing in strength, because they've now got stim, and we'll now have some kind of a muter versus marine battle on our hands. Zerg still refusing to take another base or build one more building. I think it's going to break up the game plan in the long run, but for now we'll see how it goes, because these muters, although they are a bit hesitant, I think they can do a lot of damage, preventing these marines breaking out of these bridges, or moving over the bridges, and then again here. But for now they don't appear to be doing anything. Lebot now going for a radiate, I think, and a vessel. Oh dear, there we go. So now this Stim Bio army takes down nearly all the Lings and doing a number of volleys on the muters. Muters doing okay, but there are just too many marines, and if the first irradiate hits, if not before that, because all the muters will have been destroyed, there are so many medics, Terran is going to push Steamhammer's nose in, and that will be the end of that. Lebot with another base, and look at that 3k mineral stack in the early game. That's just some atrocious decision making. Scourgy! Plop! There goes the science vessel, and there go the tanks. But the question is, will it be in time? Looks like it will be very, very slow, and of course there are marines in the rear. Of course the muters are dealing a nice amount of damage, but at this point it's just a 3 base versus 2 base. And if you keep sitting on 4k minerals meanwhile taking to hive, I don't think you've really got a good build. So, Lebot taking down this young Zerg upstart with a nicely done bio with tank support build, and that's going to be the end of that. Isn't it bad dying sitting on 4.5k minerals with only 1 hive and a handful of drones? Oh yeah, it is. It must be. So, Lebot putting all the stops, taking all the bases, shutting down the enemy base. We are going into the last game. No, we'll do one more after this, because I got sent one game by Tscu, which I'd like to show. Oh, this is Tscu 2 versus Ironbot. Ironbot has been updating as well, so it'll be interesting to see how it's going to do that. Tscu claimed he had been working on a siege tank micro, and will be interesting to see that too, because last game versus Crazio, all the units were very, very, very hesitant to fight again, and Tscu just has some major issues in fighting major or any engagement. Just likes to harass, likes to move out, make beautiful concaves, and do all kinds of crazy techie things, but in a straight up fight it has some major issues, which are that it does not fight. So Tscu with the Marines defending against the Vulture incursions, Ironbot stacking up on supply, and Tscu going defensive, Ironbot going offensive, and of course if you are on the upper foot, not on the back foot, so to speak, you are in the advantage. Now going for a Wraith as well, and I think that Iron is going to make very, very, very short work of it, because Tscu is just hovering at the natural, trying to move out once more, while Ironbot Oh, look at how I'm ever going to cast that. We've got a huge medley of vultures. Tscu coming out on the upper hand with the defensive position, but now losing some too. We've got the vultures being supported by Wraith, just making the vultures a little bit more efficient with the SCV repairing stuff. Vultures coming in, another Wraith coming up. Tscu just being a little bit slow about it, and the Wraith is just taking 8 hit points at a time of the Vulture army of Tscu. And as you can see, supply-wise, Tscu now taking expansion, but the Vultures are all over it, and the Wraiths, oh yeah, well, there are 2, so Wraiths are over it too. And you can have an expansion up, but if it's unprotected like that, and the enemy is starting an expansion of its own, meanwhile building more Wraiths, I think the build order is just better, and we will never get to see the tank micro of Tscu. Which defeats the purpose a little bit, and I can only hope that it's in the last game, which I'm about to show in a minute. So this is the Beauty Witch's Iron by Mrave from France, just very, very aggressive with the Vultures, backing it up by Wraiths. And this one tank, what can it do? Because there are so many Vultures, of course it can kill a couple. There are now 3 Wraiths working in tandem, and all the base is gone. So, without further ado, giving the game to Iron, go into the last game, which has been played on IC Cup for some reason, I think. And I think this should be Tscu against reever. The map is Fighting Spirit, that's all I know, and this is reever for all I know. Should be reever. And this should be Tscu. So, going to speed it up just a little bit. One more time, you are watching the Student StarCraft AI Tournament weekly replay. We've got a community cast going, we've got a sponsorship deal with Twitch. You can support us there as watcher, you can like us, and if you are so inclined you can support us directly with money, which will go into the new server, which we need to play these games 24/7 for everyone's pleasure to see. And also, if you would like to visit our website, you can watch these bots play 24/7. You can learn to play against them if you have this beautiful game StarCraft Brutal installed. And also, you can learn how to code these AIs yourself. There are a lot of initiatives going at the moment, and well, one of them is this OpenBW project, which will tell you about the core engine replay module. It's in HD and will also be an integrated development environment, I think, where you can code these bots yourself, but that's not finished yet, so that will take a while. Handful of Marines moving out to take the day, and reever defending with 1 Zealot. It's going to be kited in all directions, and now these Marines will have free range of the natural for a little bit. Going to take down the Nexus, which is always a good idea. This one goon could stop them, but is not doing so. So we'll see how that will pan out. Meanwhile, we have got a Firebat and a Medic. So perhaps some kind of very aggressive bio build. This Nexus has a lot of hit points, so can take a bit of a beating. Protoss sitting on a lot of money. I don't know why that is, why it's not building any units, and of course yeah, you should have done that earlier while there wasn't a medic. But hey, now at least the bio army is off the line and killing this Zealot. And this, oh look at that. This is going to be over relatively soon, because now the medic dies, and these Marines don't stand a hell of a chance against reever. So we've got some kind of a bio build against a Protoss which does reevers. I think it will all come down to macro, but until it has reached that point, it's going to come down to a lot of bloodshed. Now, with the goons too, and the base saturated, so it's 2 versus 2 base, reever with a small supply deficit, but with reevers out in a shuttle, so that's pretty good. And as you can see, these goons, 4 goons will take, 3 goons will take care of a disconcerted Terran push. Of course, the cooldown of the reever is still considerable, so it's hard to engage Stim Bio with a shuttled reever, especially if that shuttled reever does not know what to do. It's got a very confused game plan. This medic getting low, but doing okay. The shuttle's still messing about there. third base being taken by Terran, and Protoss building more tech. Always a good idea. I saw that shuttle earlier, but has it been shot down, or where is it? The Terran army is doing something too, now infiltrating or blasting the natural. And we've got a reever, so this reever, ooh, is going to do a lot of damage. And is it going to live? It will live. The reever lives, and the firebat doesn't touch it. So Stim's firebat ran up to its death and caught a brilliant scarab in the nick of time. Oh, and that reever, oh, finally it dies, but there is a new brother trying to take its place. And with the third base up, and the third base is going to be engaged as well. Oh, this shuttle reever is still being a huge nuisance by doing absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Protoss clearing the main base with a couple of dragoons and zealots, and of course in the back, in the rear with gear, Mr. Reaver. But Terran taking a small supply advantage. Now building a factory, more factories coming, so doing some kind of next switch. Good build, but were this Reaver a little bit more decisive, or at least a shuttle, because Reavers are quite okay in dealing with Marines, only they have to be on the ground to do so, and this is not going to do anything at all. This Reaver, though, is single-handedly or single-crawly-feetedly stymieing the Terran advance. And this shuttle is just being a huge phallic object in a colloquial manner of speech. So perhaps now. Oh, it only likes workers. That's it. Marines are no fun at all. You need to be after them. Ooh, that's some huge scarabs, and this Reaver is taking down care of a lot of bio. And now the shuttle says, well, goodbye, enjoy, have a nice day, and good luck with that. Perhaps it's got another Reaver, perhaps it's trying to evacuate the Reaver, but it's very, very cowardly in doing so. But that was a nice bit of damage, and now Protoss finds itself 15 supply up. Now with the tanks it will be another matchup, and we've got two more shuttles at least. I don't know if there are Reavers in them. There are some SCVs here, so perhaps it will come out. Yep, there it goes, and it's quite efficient at doing SCVs. There is one more shuttled Reaver. Has it found its way into here, or is it mulling about there? It's there. And one here, one there. Zealot's taking care of tanks, and the Reaver is fighting a pretty good fight. Tscu with the fourth base, so it's 4 versus 3 base, or fourth base soon. Of course, there are some Marines doing something about that quickly, and there is action all over the map. And have these Zealots been dropped by this shuttle? I don't know. This tank gets nipped in the bud. Oh, nice storm. So Reaver pulling all the stops and going crazy, but there is just so much going on, so much bio, and I think that I've got to pay attention to these Zealots, because the Zealots seem to have been dropped by... Oh, we've got an Archon! Yes! Haha! Archon alert! So we've got Archon High Templar Reaver versus bio with a couple of tanks, and this base is unhindered by these Marines, which think the better of attacking it, have been stimmed nearly to death, and that's maybe one of the reasons. Oh, an Archon versus Marines. Yeah, you can have a medic there, but it's not going to work. Is it this Zealot ignoring all the bio, just going for the tank, and the Archon taking so much damage, but now going to poof? Oh, there it went. And Protoss doing its best with a lot of units, but Terran seems to be gaining the upper hand again, has caught up in supply. Storm sort of misses, and now we've got a Reaver again. Oh, look at all the damage it's doing, it's insane. Taking a shot at the medics, and that's how it's done, because you can target Marines till the cows come home. Of course, you won't have any cows in a Protoss versus Terran, but if you target the medics, there will be some Marines around them, and the medics will just be as juicy targets too. Now with the Arbiter, so Reaver putting all the stops, now 10 supply ahead again, while Tscu is still not engaging this base for some reason. Oh, only now taking a look. But this base is relatively safe by the use of these cannons. Tscu still got the surround set up. And these bio units are having a very, very, very bad day with all these storms and scarabs flying all over the place, and now this tank is... Okay, perhaps now we'll see some zealots being dropped. Oh, one shuttle, one reaver gets sniped. Oh, and the second one gets sniped too. So that's unfortunate. These two zealots are left behind. Going to take down one tank. I think that's a good trade. But you're going to need to do something about this tank. And one more reaver entering the fight. But should take care of this tank first, because this tank is so very important, doing such a lot of damage. Reaver now 15 supply up, and this base is up-ish too. Perhaps if a cannon gets posted, that will end this mild harass by this one marine. And ooh, that marine is so very low. But the shuttles, no, the vultures pop in just before a cannon gets planted down, so that's pretty pro. Main base out for Protoss, natural getting low, third very low, and although Terran is fighting with a hugely inaccurate unit composition with bio and tanks versus reavers, it's still pushing ahead by virtue of its superior macro. Main is getting there, low 2, natural 2, but it's got 1, 2 bases, and engaging this base here with the cannons, which I think the pylon will fall before cannon will get up. Yep, that's a pity. So these cannons will be unpowered. The question is though, the vultures don't really know they are not powered, so they're keeping their distance. And as soon as a pylon will be put up, now the vultures see they're unpowered and take them down. GG, this base is gone. So now with Tscu taking another base, 2 goons there, a couple of reavers there, and that's just so beautiful. All kinds of things going miss, but this is a pretty good defensive position. And Tscu is now just shutting it down with tanks, with the bio, and with another bit of... need to check out the music, if it's not suddenly stopping or changing into what shall we do with the Drunken Sailor like it did last week. But Protoss has now got this cannon ready, and this cannon too, so it's pretty safe for the moment. A couple of more hit points on this cannon's shields would be nice, but all in all pretty good. And did that goon get blinded, or it was some kind of a medic spell? Oh, this base got raised by Protoss, that's great. For the match, that is, and for Protoss as well. But Protoss now on only one base, and that's this one. Hopefully it will put up some more cannons to help that. And look at all the probes are being transferred, so what kind of a couple of siege tanks dropped here would have so much fun with that. Terran now on the front foot with the superior macro, and these arbiters, they can stasis what they'd like, but right now they are just dead, and Protoss is in a bit of a quandary. Of course, the reavers are still doing damage, but look at this Terran army advancing upon the natural of Protoss. And that's still something I wonder about, because every time the main objective seems to be the main base, but at this point this base is so much more crucial to the Protoss survival and so undefended relatively. If you take down this cannon, which you could do with a tank and a handful of bio, you could take down all the probes and all the income of Protoss, thus shutting down everything that comes out of this factory base without any economic value whatsoever, easily. And it seems like Tscu is just doing that with a lot of medics. And Protoss, and this is where the fire bat comes in, because the stimmed fire bat is going to do so much damage against probes. It's got that 2 ranged melee armor which does some kind of weird splash. And it's a pity I can't see the number of kills it's got, but this base seems now to be shut down, and that will be the end of the main too. So tanks now set up, and these reavers cannot possibly dare to get out. And there we go. Last bit of cannoning going down. This base has been raised. Here goes the Nexus, and there goes... Okay. Yeah, no. Quite sure. No. Yeah, well... Shall we? Yeah, let's do it. So, no, let's not do that. But there are all kinds of units in the main base. So that's the broadcast for today. If you like what you see, you can support us through our website. You can watch these games, you can play against these bots yourself if you've got this game of StarCraft Brute War installed, and you can learn to code these games yourself. By our new Twitch partnership, we have a broadcast every week on Sunday, 2000 hours CET. Do like us, do come and watch us, and if you are so inclined to support us financially, which we need for our new server, do so via the Twitch platform, which is an easy and safe way to do. For now, I thank you, and I thank all of you who supplied me with some of the replays. Lately I haven't had time to spend much time online to check out which bots are doing well, and if you do witness a good game, send me the file or recommend it to me. I will get it and I will cast it in my weekly broadcasts. I'll be back next week with another broadcast of all the updates and what's going on. For now, it seems like reever is falling to Tscu with a ludicrous build, but much fun as always. For now, I thank you and I say goodbye, see you next week.